The Insta360 Go is a tiny wearable action camera that's perfect for running. So why is it so good, and why did I return mine? If you're new to this channel, my name is Chris Guess and I like to run. Some of what is covered on this channel is running related. Over the last 8 months, I have reviewed 4 different running watches, and in order to shoot those videos, I needed to get some footage of me running. In the past, I have used everything from my GH5, which is this camera I am shooting on now, all the way down to my very old Hero 4 Silver. This thing is very old, but it still works perfectly. The problem with all of these cameras is that I don't really like carrying them when I run. Especially something the size of the GH5, which means you're going to have to carry it in a backpack. Also, I can hear you down in the comments, why don't you just use your phone when you're running and take video and photos with that? Well, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to run with their phone, so it isn't something that I've already got on me. I have, of course, tried using my phone in the past as one of those cameras. This brings me on to the Insta360 Go. The main reason I wanted to pick one of these up is its tiny size in a really lightweight package. Size and weight. The camera itself is 49.4mm by 21.4mm by 14.85mm. That is pretty small. Just think of it as roughly the size of your thumb. It weighs less than 20 grams. I mean, this thing is insanely small. You could easily lose this thing, and you're definitely not going to notice it in your pocket. Even if you include the charging case that it comes with, it comes in at less than 40 grams and is not much bigger than the size of an AirPods case. This is what makes it so good for running. Its tiny size means that you can pull it out, take a few shots, and then slide it back into one of those teeny tiny pockets that you get on running shorts, and you're not even going to know that it's there. It doesn't bounce around, it doesn't weigh you down, and you're not going to have to carry it the whole time like you do with, say, a GoPro on a selfie stick. You can even attach it to your hat using the clip provided. Which brings me on to the next good thing, mounting options. The Insta360 Go comes with a bunch of mounts included in the box, including a magnet pendant, a self-adhesive pivot stand, the easy clip, and the magnetic sticky base. You can also get a couple of other accessories if you get the expansion pack, which I think is a little selfie stick and some sort of finger ring mount attachment. I haven't got those, I never had those. The Go attaches to all these mounts using the magic of magnets. The variety of the mounts included allows you to get some pretty creative shots. You can get some great POV shots using the pendant, which is designed to go under your shirt, allowing you to clip the Go to the front of your clothing, and it stops it kind of jumping around while you're walking. This, I would say, however, doesn't really work when it comes to running, unless maybe you've got something really close fitting and quite thick. The pivot stand is effectively a tiny ball head with a sticky mount attachment on the bottom. It's that kind of sticky glue that means that you can stick it on any smooth flat surface, and once it gets dirty you can just rinse it off and re-stick it. So you need to make sure that you keep hold of the backing so that you can cover it back over when you're done using it. Finally, the easy clip. This is the one you're going to use for running. You could attach it to your hat, your sweatband, the top of your shorts, maybe your shoes, your laces, basically anywhere that you can think of adding a clip, that's where you can get the camera. It also comes with this kind of rubber wedge that allows you to change the angle of the clip, allowing you to change the angle of the camera. I found this to be a little bit fiddly, and for the most part I just used the clip as was. Stabilization. The Go uses Insta360's flow state stabilization. This works like magic. Even when you're running at speed, you will still get silky smooth footage out of the Go. And because of the way the Go captures footage, regardless of what direction you're holding it in, you will always have your horizon level. The Go is essentially like one half of a 360 camera. It captures a 180-degree field of view. Think of it as a 360 spherical image cut in half. The Go captures a 2720 by 2720 square image for video. And then from that square image, you're able to create a 1080p quality image from somewhere in that frame. Which leads me to the next cool feature. Reframing. If you're familiar with how a 360 camera works, then you will be well aware of reframing. With a 360 camera, you are able to choose where the camera is looking after the fact because it's always capturing 360 degrees. Now, the Go doesn't do this, but it does some things similar. From the app, you can choose whether to export a 16:9, a 9:16, or a 1:1 aspect ratio video or photo. And this can be done either in a wide angle view or a linear view. Within these options, you can look around the frame and decide anywhere within that 2720 by 2720 square where you want to take your 1080p image from. You can even set keyframes in the app so that you can do like a pan from one side to the other, or just move the camera as perhaps you move out of frame. This is very handy when you're running because the likelihood is that the camera's probably going all over the place while you're trying to look really good at running. Video modes. The Go is a very unique camera, and one of the things that makes it unique is its recording limits. In standard mode, the Go limits you to record either 15, 30 or 60-second clips at a time only. If you want to record any longer than that, there is a 5-minute FPV mode, but as the name suggests, this is designed for FPV drones and can only be accessed by another setting in the settings menu. It's also designed to have airflow over the camera, otherwise it will heat up. So if you try and use this when you're just walking around, it's likely to overheat and shut down. Where it gets interesting from a running perspective is with interval shooting and hyperlapse modes. Interval shooting allows you to have the camera turn on automatically and record either a 15 or a 30-second clip and then turn off. You can then in the app set how long an interval you want between those clips being recorded, and this can be set from a minute all the way up to a day, and you can actually get record times of up to 7 days. This means that at the start of your run you could set your clip length and your interval, hit record, and then just go for your run. You don't have to worry about stopping to press record or checking what mode you're in. You know you're going to get a sample of clips from your entire run based on that interval. This means that on a long run, you're not going to have to worry about having that huge GoPro file that covers your entire 2-hour workout, and you're going to go through that footage and throw most of it away. This will just give you sample clips all the way through your run, and there'll be little wastage. Interval shooting can also be set up to use the slow motion mode. This is recorded at 1600 by 900 resolution at 100 frames per second. The hyperlapse mode allows you to shoot up to a maximum of 30 minutes, producing a clip up to 5 minutes long. So if you're off for a quick 5k and you want to capture the whole thing, stick it in hyperlapse mode and you'll get the whole run. You can also shoot a standard time-lapse mode for up to 8 hours with a 24-hour mode coming soon. Any of these modes can also be controlled using Bluetooth via the app. You're not going to get a preview of the video, however, it's just to trigger the controls. So if you've got the camera stuck in some weird crazy position and you can't get to the button, just use the Bluetooth controls and you're set. Photos. If you want to take photos with the Insta360 Go, then you can. Again, you're going to get to pick from the same aspect ratios as you do in video, 16:9, 9:16 or 1:1. This means whatever configuration you want for, say, your Instagram, then it's got you covered. The max resolution of photos is 2560 by 2560 in the 1:1 aspect ratio. Action ready. The Insta360 Go is IPX4 water resistant. This means that if you're going to run in the rain, you'll be fine. It can even withstand a quick dunk. It can be submerged up to 10 seconds. But if you're planning on using this for a triathlon, then forget it, because it's definitely going to break when you come to that swim section. Battery life and charging. Battery life on the Insta360 Go is a little bit of an odd one. Insta360 says that it can shoot up to 200 clips at around 18 seconds. And that's actually inclusive of the extra charge that's in the case. The case can charge the camera up to 2.5 times from full. Of course, all the battery estimates will depend on the clip length and what mode you're shooting in. But in my experience, it lasted a reasonable amount of time. I got a kind of day's shooting overall based on the way the camera works. You're not going to be having it turned on the whole time. You're going to get it out, shoot a couple of clips, put it back in the charging case. Overall, you're probably going to fill up the camera before you run out the battery. The case is charged using micro USB and the camera is charged by putting it in the case. The camera snaps directly into the case using magnets, but you've got to make sure you got it the right way around because the pins are only on one end and the camera fits in the case both ways. The app. The Insta360 Go is nothing without the app. In fact, it's the only way to get footage off of the camera. If you're an iOS user, then you can plug the case directly into the bottom of your phone using the lightning port that's on the bottom. Once the case is plugged in, you can preview the files and then transfer them to the phone and wipe the camera. If you're an Android user, it works exactly the same way, except you've got to remember the little cable. It's micro USB to USB-C. Once you've transferred the files onto your phone, this is where you can start having a little bit of fun with your footage. In the app is where you can choose your aspect ratio and choose between wide and linear modes, and this is where you will program your camera moves. You can also do some basic editing in the app, including trimming clips, adding filters, adjusting things like contrast and saturation, as well as add some basic speed ramping, and finally add some music. You can even choose the stabilization method after the fact, including turning it off altogether. The app also includes some templates which guide you through a basic edit and helps you choose clips based on a style that you pick. So if the Insta360 Go has all these great features in such a small package, why did I return it? Faulty mount. I brought my Insta360 Go like anybody else. And when I received it, one of the accessories in the box was faulty, specifically the pivot stand base. My pivot stand base was cross-threaded when I took it out of the box, meaning the screw thread on the base was all chewed up before I even attached it to the pivot head. I was a little bit frustrated, but I thought, it's not the end of the world, maybe I can get a replacement part, and maybe I'm just going to end up using something like this mini tripod anyway. The weird thing is that on all the reviews I watched before I bought my Insta360 Go, the pivot base had a metal screw thread on it, whereas mine was moulded plastic. I assume this was done to cut costs, but obviously on my unit, the moulding was not any good and meant that I couldn't use the mount. Connection issues. Whilst this was by no means a deal breaker, on some occasions when I connected the case to my phone, it simply didn't recognise it. For the most part, unplugging the case and plugging it back in resolved the issue, but on a few occasions I had to do it more than once in order to get a connection. As this is the only way to access the camera, I would hope that the connection would be a little bit more robust, but maybe that will be fixed with future updates. Video quality. The Insta360 Go is an extremely small camera, and therefore so is the sensor, so we shouldn't expect too much from it. In fact, it's kind of insane what something this small is actually capable of. That said, ultimately I found the video quality to be a little bit lacking. Whilst the footage was amazingly stable, I found it a little bit jarring when mixed in with clips from other cameras. This meant that I was a little bit reluctant to use the footage that I had shot. In fact, all the footage in this video was originally shot for my review of the Coros Pace 2, and in the end I reshot it. It just didn't make the cut. So what's the overall verdict? The Insta360 Go has some great features, especially when it comes to running. In fact, it's the least invasive camera I've ever used. It cannot be underestimated what a difference it makes when you've got something this small and light. When it comes to video quality, the Go is not the best, but by no means is it the worst. If you're looking for a small, inexpensive camera, at least compared to a GoPro, and you want to capture your runs and post them to Instagram or TikTok, then this could be the perfect camera for you. The video quality is perfectly acceptable for Instagram stories. In fact, that is where I used most of my footage. In the end, I sent my Insta360 Go back and opted for a GoPro Hero 9. But having used this on a couple of runs now, I really miss that small form factor of the Insta360 Go. So much so, I'm actually thinking of buying another one. Fingers crossed for an Insta360 Go 2 in the near future, and hopefully that will have slightly better resolution. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you would like more of this type of content, then hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, why not hit the bell? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.